We leave like 2.
No, I don't think so.
Welcome to tonight's Public Works Committee meeting for June 9th, 2025. If everyone could please stand for the invocation by Mayor Gill.
Dear Lord, our Heavenly Father, thank you for your graciousness, understanding, and support. Please continue to lay your hand on the whole of Muskogee. Our community has been spared from the worst of the recent storms, and we are grateful. As council gathers tonight, please give us the strength and resolve to make the correct decisions as each of us sees it. Some of the decisions made tonight may weigh heavy on our hearts. Please guide us to make decisions that best benefit the community and our constituents, as that is why we are here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. For the flag salute. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I pledge to the Oklahoma flag.
I salute the flag of the state of Oklahoma. Its symbols of peace unite all people.
Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of May 12th, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Item 1 passes. And are we striking item 2? Okay, so we're going to strike item 2. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval to purchase 11 traffic signal battery backup units using pricing set forth in the City of Muskogee and TLS Group Incorporated Maintenance Agreement in the total amount of $109,065, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes, what this item is going to do is replace a bunch of battery backup units that we have on traffic signals around town. The list of the locations is in your packet. Most of these are on 69 Highway and Shawnee Bypass. We're primarily focusing around our main intersections that have huge amount of traffic volumes in them. This does replace 11 units. The total amount for this is $109,065. This is going to be completed by TLS Group, which is a contracted group that does our signal repair maintenance and our emergency repairs anyway. So this is doing it under contract with them. The reason we have it on the agenda is because the amount, the $109,065, this also is going to be paid out of a former sales tax, which will help us get that off the books. So we do recommend approval, and I'll try to answer any questions. One of the improvements, by the way, to this system is going to be when these battery backups go in, there will be a light on top of the control box that will light when the unit is actually running by battery backup, which will help us tell when that happens. So we do recommend approval, and I'll answer any questions, or Mr. Avery will assist me.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Stewart?
I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melanie Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Item passes. Item 4, please.
Consider approval of final payment for the Southwest Zone Mill and Overlay Project in the amount of $196,930.50 to Apex Central Incorporated, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Rigney.
So, yeah, I was going to tell you, Mr. Rigney's going to present it, but he has worked diligently on this project and has taken a lot of pride in it, so I want to give him that recognition. Thank you.
So this is for the Southwest Zone final pay. Here's a picture of some of the streets that we did in the Southwest Zone. Here's a overall map of the southwest zone. So there's a lot going on this map. It has the micro seal as well, which we've done the final pay for already at council. So if you'll look at these blue lines for the overlay and red lines for the mill and overlay, you'll see that we got a lot done in the southwest zone as far as the total mileage of streets in that zone. And we did just under 15 miles of repavement in this zone, plus the additional miles we did in the micro seal. So APAC was the contractor. They also utilized Ross Construction as a subcontractor. Both of them are local contractors. We had one change order, which was to balance some deductions from underruns and then add 6 streets to it. That was approved by the council prior to this. And we did some collector streets in there as well, 54th, Kershaw, Hancock Border, and Junction. If you'll remember, in 2019, at the inception of the CIP, the focus was residential streets with some collector streets being done as well. So these are the collectors. That's why I wanted to call them out. All the rest of the streets that were done were residential streets. We feel like we had a very successful project, and the total of the project contract was just over $3.9 million. So there is still a little bit of money left in that zone for us to continue to do improvements.
I want you to say one more time where that money came from for these streets.
The 2019 CIP tax.
I appreciate that, because there's some people that are sitting in this room right now that are saying, don't pass the next CIP, and this is how we pay for our streets. This is how we get stuff done in Muskogee. And I just wanted them to regurgitate that we need the CIP money for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brigney. Does
I'll
anyone
make
have
a
any
motion
further
we
questions?
My second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley,
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Item passes. Item 5, please.
Consider approval of an honorary street name for Lawrence Thomas Sr., designating a portion of 20th Street located in front of Dean's Chapel Baptist Church as Lawrence Thompson Sr. Way, or take other necessary action.
Deputy Mayor Reed, Councilor Cranford.
Yes. So it is with great honor tonight that I ask you to designate a portion of 20th Street located in front of our church. I am Associate Minister at Dean's Chapel. My pastor is here today. Some of the deacons and church members and Mr. Thompson's family are also here tonight. Deacon Thompson has been a lifelong citizen of the city of Muskogee. He is a veteran. He has fought for his country. He came back to the city of Muskogee to make sure that the citizens of Muskogee were well educated. He is, when I first moved here, just took me in as a family member, the first person that I kind of really met. And I think that this would be a great honor for him and all of his service that he does, not only at our church, but in the community as well. He's a graduate of Manual Training High School, and make sure that they continue to have their reunions and people come out. He is a great historian for the city of Muskogee, especially the African American community. And I just think that this would be a great honor for him.
Move for approval.
Second.
Well, before we take vote, I do have some citizens signed up to speak, so when I call your name, just come to the podium, and you'll have 5 minutes. First is Ernest Nero Jr.
I'd like to be first.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening. If you don't mind, just state your name into the microphone for the record, please.
I'm Ernest Nero Jr. I am a resident of Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. I've been a deacon at Dean's Chapel Baptist Church for pretty close to 20 years. I've known Deacon Thompson a little over 20 years. He has been nothing but a mentor for me and someone that I have great respect for. I've known him to always have great aspiration for the city of Muskogee, the Muskogee Roughers. Like I said, I've known him for a long year. There's a few things that's great about him. We have a marquee on outside of our church, and he has been the one that goes up and changes this marquee. So if you've ever been by Dean's Chapel Baptist Church, It's kind of like an S drive right in front of you. You can't miss the marquee. So he has a very great inspiration message every week that he has posted for years. So other than that, he shares a great birthday, and that's with me. Okay? I love the man as a mentor, as a father, and I always have a decent respect for him, and I would think it would be a great honor to have his name put on our street. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have signed up is Mike Ragsdale.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Ragsdale. I'm the pastor of the Dean's Chapel Baptist Church. And all I want to say is the life expectancy of a male is 75 years old. The life expectancy of an African-American male is 72 years old. On July 3rd of 2025, Deacon Lawrence Thompson will be 76. So we want to give him his flowers now while he can still smell them. So I thank you for your consideration on today. Thank you.
Thank you. Next citizen we have signed up to speak is Lori Thompson.
Hello, I'm Lori Thompson. I am the daughter-in-law of Deacon Lawrence Thompson, and I just stand before you just to pretty much echo everything that's been said, but to also let you know that this area is called Dean's Addition. And in Dean's Addition in Ward 3, there's not many left that can tell you the history. You can talk to Deacon Thompson, and he's going to tell you where houses used to be, who still owns what, and going to go through the whole regimen of what he used to do. So there's nothing more fitting than to have that area named after him. He's been going through some health issues. He's getting stronger and he's getting better. But with those health issues, he was been nervous about memory loss and different things. And this was just something that he and his daughter, or myself and his daughter, spoke about, was just some way to honor him, that people will be able to Google him and look him up, and he won't be forgotten. And so, we all know what Alzheimer's and different things can do, but we also know what it's like to be able to speak to somebody and to remember. So his legacy is long, and we are so blessed to still have him here, and we just want to honor him in this way, that he gets to see his name on this sign. He worked really hard as well. If you go by Dean's Chapel, like he said, one of the other corners is named after our pastor emeritus, Don E. Dumas. And Thompson was very adamant about making sure it got done so that Dumas got to see it. And Reverend Dumas is still here, and he's still proud of his sign. And I know that as proud as Dumas is about his, Thompson will be about his as well. So we just thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next we have signed up is Brenda Ledbetter.
Hi, I'm Brenda Ledbetter. I've been knowing Lawrence since we were little bitty kids. We were raised up in the same neighborhood on the south side. We go to the same church. We are classmates. We went all the way through grade school, junior high, and high school, and we're proud classmates from Manual Training High School in 1967. He's always been a very caring and loving person, and I think it would be a great honor if he could be honored this way. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the citizens that we have signed up to speak for this item. I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley,
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hoos,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Item passes. Item 6, please.
Consider approval of the appointment of John Hayes to the Muskogee Industrial Trust to serve a 6-year term, filling the expiring term of Stephanie Folsom, beginning August 1, 2025, and ending July 31, 2031, or take other necessary action.
Councilor Stout?
Yes, John will make a great replacement there on that board, continuing Stephanie, and I'd move for approval.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley,
Yes.
Tom Martindale,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hoos,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Item passes. Item 7, please.
Consider approval of the appointment of Dave Ross to the Street Improvement Advisory Board to fill the unexpired term of Mike Brawley, commencing upon appointment and ending on January 31, 2027, or take other necessary action.
Mayor Kell?
Yes. This is to take the unexpired term of Mike Brawley. The Street Improvement Advisory Board is a pretty important board. Mr. Dave Ross has offered to be on that board through the convincing of Mike Brawley. Mike said he's going to be a wonderful choice, and he's a wonderful man, and I recommend approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item passes. I do have two citizens signed up to speak for general comments. I want to call your name. Please come up to the microphone. First is Tara Park. Ms. Tara Park. Okay. Second is Mr. Ivory Van. And I don't see Ivory out there, so that concludes tonight's meeting.
Want to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for June the 9th, 2025. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of May 12, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Reviewing other minutes, are there any corrections or additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments May 3rd, 2025 through May 30, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Do we have a report from the Purchasing Committee? Report from the Purchasing Committee?
Yes. The purchasing committee did meet this afternoon, and we approved the claims. I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Hold a public hearing to discuss the City of Muskogee budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026, and take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I have a
Hold on,
small...
hold on just a moment. We need to open the hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. We will consider ourselves in a public hearing at
I'm
this
sorry.
time.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, I have prepared a small PowerPoint to review our budget for the year. It is kind of something that you've seen in the past. It's just a small snippet, but let's go ahead and move forward. As we like to say here in Muskogee, it is a privilege to make our neighbors' lives better every day. For today, we're going to present a balanced budget. We're going to discuss any changes and provide rationale for those changes. What does Muskogee do? Here's a small snippet of what the city does. We provide fire, police. We provide water and sewer for our citizens. We have an airport. Those are a lot of things that communities that don't have, that have at our size. To put in perspective, over the past roughly 14 years, you can see what our revenues and expenditures have done. As we want to see the blue line over the red line. There's years past that has not happened. As we get to the current year's budget, as you can see, you're going to see a small dip in our revenue projections. It's been a tough year here in Muskogee for our sales tax and other revenues, so we are projecting a reduction in our budget for the FY26 year. The highlights, we have our strategic initiatives, areas of interest, our reserve, our budget overview and principles. We will highlight the general fund and other funds such as tourism, economic development, and the civic center. Those strategic initiatives are streets and infrastructure, public image, economic development, housing, and tourism. A quick look at our reserve fund status. To start the FY25 year, we were just over 22%. We did have to dip into our reserve fund this year to cover some unexpected expenses, so we currently sit at 20.65%, which is still above the 20%, which is what we strive to be at least above 20%. The principles that my department runs by: the budget must comply with statutory, charter, and local ordinance considerations. Budget must be in balance. We spend current revenues only. Of course, we do have those occasional emergencies and planned one-time events, and we want to preserve the long-term fiscal health of the city. As you can always refer back, what the budget book was on the website for review. This is the total budget projection for funds across the board. As you can see, that general fund took a small dip from last year by roughly $300,000. As we always like to see, how are we doing compared to communities our size? Here's a chart that shows communities above us and below us that are comparative in size. Year to date, we are running roughly 0.84% above last year. We are below budget just slightly, but the revenues are above prior year, so at least we are seeing an increase, which is better than a decrease over the prior year. General fund revenue assumptions. Sales tax, as I said, is 0.9% below budget through May of 2025. As we went into the budget year, budget projections, we told staff that we would probably have to budget flat, but you expect those cuts to happen. The big key is the $600,000 decrease in use tax if the 2025 CIP does not pass. Here's our budget over the last couple of years and then into next year's projections. As I said, we have roughly a $300,000 projected decrease in revenues going into FY26. As I discussed, we told staff that cuts were to be predicted. So when we started our making cuts, we had $45.6 million in requests in the general fund, and we are, as of today, down to that $44.3 million. That's a lot of money to have to cut out of a budget, and $1.6 million. So those are a lot of things to have to take into consideration and take a look at. Those things that we can't cut and have to add to the budget were health insurance premiums of $500,000, and then our OMAG premiums, which are our general liability and property insurance premiums. They went up by $152,000. Some of our budget highlights, of course, is economic development and our streets and infrastructure. General fund summary, cuts to general fund operations driven by revenue and expense assumptions. We always prioritize our funds for strategic initiatives and have a conservative expense management. To move out of the general fund and look at some of our other funds, Civic Center has done great things this year. Of course, the goals of any fund are to stay in budget and have increased usage. Civic Center does have a general fund subsidy of $300,000, and this year's budget does include some funding for a couple capital items, including a truss set and 2 winch sets. As we move into economic development is funded by use tax by way of the general fund of $1.5 million. It's a 60-40 split. $900,000 is for general operations of the fund. $500,000 to the port. Main Street Muskogee gets $100,000, and then so on and so forth, contract services and events, and then of course operations, which includes staff and staffing needs of $133,000. The other $600,000 goes on towards current projects / debt service. Our tourism budget for next year, we are looking at, for the current year, we will make budget this year. And for FY '26, we're projecting a flat budget of the $1,050,000. Capital outlay, we had $5 million in requests, but we only had $1.5 million in new money. Here's a small snippet of what we have approved for next year's budget. A full list of capital items is provided in the budget book for your review. Our MMA, we have $3.3 million available for capital projects. 1.9 of that, $3.3 million, goes towards debt service, which is our OWRB loans for our clean and drinking water loans. We have $475 in new equipment, and another $500,000 for water leak contracts. Other funds, such as River Country Water Park, Park Development, Airport, those are all funds that are able to function without a general fund subsidy. Our MRA is comprised solely of alcohol sales revenue, which is used to cover the operations of the MRA, and then any excess revenue is transferred to the Civic Center to cover operations. And then our parking authority, which is, we just simply maintain the parking lots that are owned by the city. Key takeaways from this year, as I said, it was a tough year for the general fund. Anything we added meant we had to subtract something else. As always, our strategic initiatives can always be accomplished through dedicated funds. Our tourism is funded through hotel motel tax. We have street through dedicated sales tax and our foundation match, and then water and sewer infrastructure through the MMA. I understand that was a lot of information in a short period of time, but that does conclude my presentation.
Thank you. I don't have anyone signed up to speak, so I will close the public hearing at this time. Do we have any remarks from council?
Yeah, I would like to thank Dennis for his hard work, and I mean hard is an understatement. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, are we taking any action on this item tonight?
No, we're just having a public hearing on it.
Right. So with that being the case, if there's no other comments, we'll go to item number 4, please.
Consider approval to accept the recommended bids for water treatment plant chemicals for water treatment as follows. 1, chlorine at 1.258 per pound to Brentag Southwest. 2, fluorosilicic acid at 0.262 per pound to Penco Incorporated. 3, polyphosphate at 0.61 per pound to Hawkins Incorporated. 4, aluminum polymer liquid blend coagulant at 0.4334 to Brentag Southwest. 5, sodium chloride solution at 0.655 per pound to International Dioxide Incorporated. 6, ferric chloride at 0.2435 per pound to Brentag Southwest. And 7, copper sulfate at 0.64 per pound to Brentag Southwest, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Tracy on getting through that almost flawlessly. That has been a mouthful over the years. So we recommend low bid on all these chemicals except item number 4. And we presented in the purchasing committee that staff wants to take the next bid, which was from Water Tech Incorporated, at 0.455 cents per pound, due to the fact that that company has been supplying us for many years, and they work with city staff very well. This was approved at the purchasing committee, and I'll answer any questions, but do recommend approval with that amendment.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I move for approval
As amended.
as amended.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item as amended. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Jerry Creed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of the lowest and/or best bids for road materials from Glover and Associates Incorporated, Cooks Consulting LLC, and APAC Central DBA Arcola for fiscal year 2025, 2026, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Rigney?
Yes, so these are our road material bids, rock, sand, asphalt, everything that we use on a daily basis for operating. The cost stayed the same generally from last year with some expected cost of living increases, but they're in line with what we expected. All these products are ODOT spec, so it ensures we're getting good quality products. We reserve the right to test any products so that we can ensure that quality. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. We do recommend approval.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the same question I asked upstairs, and Dan, I was kind of feeling like you. These products that we use, are these top-of-the-line products? Are these products that other cities use? Can you explain the products that we use on our streets?
So, Deputy Mayor, these products that we use are the same ones that just about everybody in Muskogee County uses for road improvement, and they all are ODOT spec materials. And at any time, as I restated before, we can test them. We do think they're all quality products, and we have no issue and have not had none in the past, and we have been buying from these same companies for years.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
No.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of the lowest and/or best bid from Muskogee Ready Mix for concrete materials for city repair and maintenance projects, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Rigney?
Yes, Muskogee Ready Mix is a concrete plant here in town. They've been providing us ready mix concrete for the last several years. They are the lowest and the best bid. We're happy with their products, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 6 passes. Item number 7, please.
Consider approval of a master sales and license agreement with Routeware Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $76,115.84, and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute the same or take other necessary action.
Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, me and Mr. Rigney are going to tag team this one. Routeware is something that we put in place in Public Works when we went to automated trash service. The intent of this was to help streamline the department, help our employees. With the turnover we have, we're constantly having to train them on their routes, and Routeware is something that will assist them in running their routes once they become aware of the program. As we have gotten more deeply into Routeware, though, it's time to further that and go to the optimized side of it, which will help us even streamline that department and make it even more efficient. This is a great product for sanitation department, and I'm going to let Mr. Rigney go through his PowerPoint and explain it to you.
Yeah, so we're very happy with Routeware. Like Mike said, it's a software that helps us optimize our operations, and we use this for scheduling routes, planning routes, and it also has a built-in GPS. These trash trucks are very expensive, and we keep a close eye on them, making sure they're where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do. It's a large investment for the city. So like Mike mentioned, we are looking to upgrade to the optimized feature, which will help streamline the routes, and it uses AI to help get through the route as quick as possible and time it up with trips to the landfill. It does provide tracking, and this is at its core a service verification system to make sure we're servicing our customers the way that we should, making sure we get their trash picked up. So this is kind of what you see on the office end of the Routeware system. You can see our drivers are up there, what trucks they're in, what stage of the route they're in, how many they have on the schedule for that day, how many they've done, idle time, time on the route, their max speeds. We can see a lot from this dashboard that helps us manage sanitation from the field and as well as from the office. So this is some of the things that the driver can take a picture of to show why we may have not picked a can up that day. So sometimes the cart's not at the curb, sometimes it's blocked by a car, sometimes it's turned backwards. And if they're turned backwards when the automated truck goes to dump them, the lid comes back and hits the trash and throws it everywhere, which is why we don't dump them when they're backwards. On this, you'll see that one close to the mailbox. What it does is it shows a timestamp and the vehicle number and the route they're on. That way we can, if we get a call in, we can say, hey, it was too close to the mailbox or it was blocked by a car. A lot of the times a resident it may not be their car blocking their can. So we can say, hey, at this time there was a car in front of your can and we can make that right, go get that. And then you can see on the other image that this one's bungee corded down, which means it can't be dumped with the automated vehicle. So this does improve our efficiency. Not having to go back and get carts that we did not miss saves us fuel costs. It saves wear and tear on the truck and travel time so that we can get the rest of the trash picked up quicker. And all of this to say that this does minimize operating costs and save us money on the long term. And it does help a lot with employee morale to be able to show that they're out there doing what they're supposed to be doing, recording the carts they pick up and the ones that they don't pick up for what reasons they don't pick them up. With that, we'll be happy to answer any questions. We're very happy with this product and we think it's great for our employees and for our citizens.
Thank you. Any questions? Comments? Motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item number 7 passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval to authorize the city manager to execute a renewal agreement with Great Plains Consulting, LLC, to provide project construction inspection services on various OWRB and capital improvement projects as required by the loan agreement or take other necessary action.
So, as council may remember, those that have been on there a while, we were requested to actually look at an inspection services, especially when we were involved in the 24th Street project, to try to keep them moving along and make sure that we got proper inspecting. We went out and found Great Plains Inspection Company. They did a great job for us on 24th, and I don't know, some of the pictures you get in your monthly and in the past weekly reports all have been generated by Great Plains Inspector, and we just incorporate those into our reports. Brian Nutt is here from Great Plains, if there's any questions in particular for him. Some of our contracts, especially with OWRB, do require us to have specialized inspection services, and that is incorporated into our loan. So a lot of this is being paid for out of our OWRB loan money, and then, of course, out of our public works funds as we have them inspect separate public works projects. Brian has been doing a great job for us. He's inspecting several projects a day. We've even got him now inspecting the mill and overlay and the microservicing work that we're doing. This does have a small increase in it of less than 5%. This will bring the total monthly fee to $13,670. If you looked on there, that did have a not to exceed amount of $500,000, which it will never get near that. We put that in there just in case there was a special project that came along that we needed to go ahead and incorporate their services. Do recommend approval. I think Jeff Reeves, who is our project manager who's here, would speak very highly of this program. It is real essential to his work and what he does. And again, we do recommend approval, and we'll answer any questions.
Move for approval?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Hale.
Yes.
Item number 8 passes. Item number 9, please.
Consider approval of final payment to Ascend Commercial Builders in the amount of $20,000 for Grandview Park, project number 2023010, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reeves?
Good evening, all. This project was a $1.5 million project, came in $60,000 under quoted price. The project was successfully completed. The new playground equipment meets and exceeds federal standards for listed as ASTM 148721 for 2 through 12-year-olds, which basically means that the materials and the equipment have been tested and approved by the federal government. The project included new signage for the park, playground rules, a natural play area with playground equipment, and a half-mile of concrete walking trails for the park. On the east side, a pavilion area with riding paths on the west side, and a walking path with shade structures in the middle section. There will be bathrooms included in this at a later date. The west section also has a bike park and natural trails. And staff does recommend approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Jeff, when is the parking lot scheduled to be corrected? Because that was supposed to be in part of the original plan.
I have to defer that to Mark Wilkerson. I believe that was not included in this project for financial reasons.
Okay, that was gonna be my question too. She just beat me to it.
I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
Because when we were standing out there one day, they said it would be done by the time the opening of the park, but then there was weather, so I figured that was what the reason was, so.
Well, and part of it, I believe, is the parking lot has decomposed in such a manner that it's going to take more to do it than it was just micro-surfacing overlay
Okay.
to the park. It's more to it than that.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion?
It is a beautiful park, though. Thank y'all for putting it in, work too.
Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 9 passes. Item number 10, please.
Consider approval to purchase one new Caterpillar Model 260 C3 H2 skid steer loader, compact track loader with all standard equipment in the amount of $74,031 for the Hatbox Event Park, or take other necessary action.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yeah, so this will be for the Hatbox Event Park side, moving everything, getting things set up, torn down for different events. Right now, Parks has 2 additional skids, but we're all sharing it across departments, and so everything at the event park is on skid pallets, and so this will help us do that more efficiently and be able to assist in parks overall.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
Item number 10 passes, and that is our final item on the finance.
We will now call to order tonight's special call Muskogee Municipal Authority. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Mike Brawley.
Here.
Item number 1.
Consider approval of MMA claims for the month ending April 30, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Manager.
Caught me off guard and wasn't paying attention, so we are recommending the claims for the month ending April 30th. We've reviewed them and I recommend approval.
Motion for approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3032, adopting the Muskogee Municipal Authority budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, establishing budget amendment authority, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Dennis Reed, please.
Yes, as I presented earlier in the public hearing in the Finance Committee, we went through the budget for the city of Muskogee. I have provided a budget book for your review and provided a balanced budget, and I do recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Item passes. Thank you. This meeting's now adjourned. We will now call to order tonight's special call, Muskogee Redevelopment Authority. Roll call.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here.
Mike Brawley.
Here.
Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3034, adopting the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, establishing budget amendment authority, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed?
Yes, as discussed earlier in the public hearing, I've provided the budget book for your review, and I do recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3037, a joint resolution of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, and the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority, accepting the responsibilities as designed to the authority by the city pursuant to the Muskogee Urban Renewal Area, Shawnee Avenue, Economic Development Project Plan adopted by the city, providing preliminary approval of a term sheet in connection with the proposed issuance of the authority's tax increment revenue note, taxable series 2025, requesting the Muskogee Foundation to consent to the issuance of the note and agree to the modification of certain payment guarantees in accordance with the term sheet, approving professional services agreements related to financing professionals, and containing other provisions relating thereto, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Tara Shows.
Actually, I'm going to take that item for tonight.
Okay. She's prettier than you, but that's okay.
I'll agree to that. Earlier in the night, I handed you guys all a sheet that had the increment district number 3 information at the top of it. Mr. Ellis with our public law firm group couldn't make it tonight to go over this item, so I'm going to give you a couple quick highlights. So currently, our TIF district number 3, which is considered the area off of Shawnee, which consists of the stores like TJ Maxx and there's Colton's in that area. We were allowed to authorize $16.5 million in projects to cover any operating or any expenses relating to development or land purchase. We only took out roughly $11.5 million of that debt. We are at a state where we need to now take on the rest of that debt to increase development and need some of that money to do some upgrades to the land to bring in some more retail development. So basically, we're looking at funding an additional $4.2 million. The way this would be structured is we get the $4.2 million, the money would stay in the bank until we need to draw it down from the bank. We currently need $1.5 million for some improvements to the area. So in order us to do that, we need your permission to get the foundation to guarantee the loan with Bank First, which they're currently the guarantee on the existing money. They hold the notes for both the development side and the land purchase side of the TIF. So basically, we need your permission to proceed with that. We do recommend approval.
Got a question. I know that we're doing a big drainage project out there. Is this for that?
I think that is
something
part.
different?
Yeah, that is part of the, what we need the money for, yes. Because I think we need to increase that, the drainage back behind the current TJ Maxx for the development, yes.
Tara, do you have anything to add to that?
So this is for the infrastructure incentive for the large retail development that we've been working on for the past year. This particular drawdown.
Okay, so, and I thought that's a big area
Yeah.
that we're working on. I just thought that is the drainage not part of that, or was it a separate?
It'll be a separate project out of next year's stormwater budget.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the 1.5 is what we need currently right now. And at any point we decide we need further development needs, we will then come to you and to the foundation to make sure they are approval of any more money than we draw down. We won't draw any more money down than we need at the current time. It just will be made available to us if we need it.
Thank you. I'm excited to have that project. Any questions? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley,
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Yes.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
No.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Okay, we will now adjourn, and we will now call to order tonight's special call, Muskogee Parking Authority. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Here?
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here.
Mike Brawley.
Here.
Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Muskogee Parking Authority minutes of April 14th, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Number 2, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3033, adopting the Muskogee Parking Authority budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, establishing budget amendment authority, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed?
Yes, as discussed earlier in our public hearing, I have provided you with a budget book to review and provided a balanced budget, and we do recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks again. Any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. We'll now adjourn and go to tonight's special call agenda for Muskogee City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Here?
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here.
Mike Brawley.
Here.
Okay. Approval of minutes, please.
Special Call City Council, April 14th, 2025. Special Call City Council, April 21st, 2025. Special Call City Council, April 22nd, 2025. Regular City Council, April 28th, 2025. And Special Call City Council, April 30, 2025.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley,
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Approval of minutes. We've got the consent agenda next, items 1 through 10. Does anyone have any changes or corrections?
Move for approval.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Now on to the regular agenda. Number 11, please.
Consider approval of ordinance number 4265A, an ordinance approving amendment number 6 to the War Memorial Park Trust Authority Trust Indenture, Article 6, the trustees, Section 1, amending the length of terms for trustees from a 3-year term to a 5-year term, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Dan Hall.
Well, this is going to be an interesting agenda item for me. It just is. So, when I first got elected, I was not in favor of messing with the term limits of our boards and our trust for the city. I was definitely not in favor of extending them. So they give me this job to do because I'm on the War Trust Memorial. The reason why they want to move it out is because we have a lot of stuff going with about moving the Batfish to its new resting place, and there's a lot of legal stuff going on. There's a lot of money that needs to be raised, and so they're really wanting to keep the same board intact through all this, because every time you bring someone on new right now, you're going to have to explain to them what's going on. You're going to have to babysit them through each one of the agenda items where the people that are already on there kind of know what's going on. It's kind of a two-edged sword for me tonight because I don't want to extend anybody's boards or trust, but they've asked me to put it on since I'm the city councilman. So I'm going to put it out there. I need a motion for number 11.
Dan, first I'm going to say that's an excellent move considering what's going on with the Batfish right now and what they're doing. And it's going to be a project that might run 5 years or so, we hope. And they need all the expertise that they have on that board now. It's a good, solid board. And for them to continue together and see that through is a great idea. So thank you for bringing that forward.
And they need that to happen, but someone will make a motion.
I'll make the motion to move for approval.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
I have a quick question.
Yes,
Are
sir.
they not allowed to do consecutive terms?
I have no idea.
I
That's
don't-
it.
I believe in their bylaws they are not, but I can double check that for you.
Okay. They can't, okay. Thank you.
Roll call.
Mike Brawley,
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall,
No. I'm sorry. I got to stick with what my heart is here, guys. It's my agenda item, but I still got to do what I got to do.
That's weird.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hous,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
It's all right.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes.
Sorry about that, guys.
Dan, I take back what I said. Item number 12.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3031, approving the City of Muskogee budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, establishing budget amendment authority, or take other necessary action.
Okay, I know this is your first time. Mr. Reed?
Yes, as discussed earlier in our public hearing, I have provided you with a budget book and a balanced budget. I do recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Reed?
Move for approval.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes, item passes. Number 13, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3030, requesting the annexation of the remaining parcels in the John T. Griffin Industrial Park 2, establishing a zoning classification of I-1 light industrial zoning classification, setting a date for a public hearing, and directing staff to take the necessary steps in compliance with state statutes pertaining to the annexation request or take other necessary action.
Ms. Bodenhammer?
Thank you, Mayor. Pursuant to state statutes, we have to get direction from staff to publish and follow all of the state laws in annexing property in. At this time, we are requesting direction and permission to go ahead and file our notices for annexation of the remaining property located in the John T. Griffin Industrial Park. We will bring that in as a zoning classification of light industrial. And we would, again, request direction from staff. I'm going to hand this over, or for direction for staff, I'm going to hand this over to Sarah Winkle, our interim planning director, to go through her PowerPoint on it.
Thank you, and I do have a PowerPoint.
Sarah, if you would pull the mic up to you when you, because you tend to turn to the screen.
It's all right.
It's hard to pick you up. Thank you.
Michael, it was the top one on that list. Okay, so the remaining parcels in the John T. Griffith Industrial Park include 6 parcels that abut the city limits, and they are contiguous to the city of Muskogee corporate limits. The city is also going to take in the surrounding infrastructure. We are not going to annex any other property other than those 6 parcels that we are requesting. Those parcels are highlighted in color on the map as you see up at the top. The city of Muskogee is seeking annexation of the remaining properties in the John T. Griffith Industrial Park, most of which have already been annexed in. It has always been the intention of the city to annex the whole park. This city has put in water, sewer, and streets into the area to support this industrial growth. These services are being maintained, with the city money. Industry that uses electricity in the John T. Griffith Industrial Park upon annexation will pay OG&E a franchise tax for the benefit of the city and Port of Muskogee. This money will help financially support the city's investment in this John T. Griffith Industrial Park. We do have a service plan that does go with this annexation, and it does include services from the police and fire departments as well as all other city departments. In order for us to move forward with this annexation, City Council will need to pass the resolution that directs staff to set a public hearing before City Council on this matter, and this notice requires publication in a local newspaper within 14 days from this meeting. Staff does recommend approval, and I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yes, and I'll just state that it's actually, the hearing needs to be held within 14 days of publication, and right now we were looking at the Planning Commission date on July the 9th, and so we would have our publication and have our public hearing on July the 14th.
Thank you.
Sarah, what did the Planning and Zoning Committee pass on Friday?
They did move for approval.
Next, we have some folks that have asked to speak. We've got 5 minutes apiece. Right now, we'll call Andrea Hamlin. Or is that Andrea? Andrea?
She can't do that.
Okay. Mr. Wilson? Is that Mr. Earl Wilson? So just state your name only.
Earl Wilson.
Thank you.
If you annex this, it'll take the jobs away from workers over there, and especially my son and other people over there. My son works out there.
Okay.
So please don't do that. Because it provides a lot of work for them. You know, because me and my wife live on a tight budget. And it helps us, for one. If you annex it, he'll lose his job. You know, I'm medically retired from the service. Spent 17 years of fighting for work for everybody and freedom. That's not freedom if you annex. So please don't. That's all I got to say.
Mr. Wilson, thank you for your comments, and thank you for your service. Next, we have Selma Sickles. Hope I got that right.
My name is Selma Sickles, and as my husband stated, my son works for Polaris. As it is right now, they put down on Sunday, the company gets annexed, they're shutting down. So the whole company's gonna be gone. It will affect everybody, not just my family, but every person that works there and their families. I mean, for us, you got 2 vets that are feeding a family of 6, with my son working there to help out. That puts a binder on us, because we don't make that much money. And I know the people that work there, they don't make that much money either. Some are vets, some aren't. And I don't, it's one of those that it's gonna be hard on those families, because now all of them are gonna be looking for work again. It's one of those that we really don't want to go down that road, but it's what the company decides. And I'd rather not, because it's a good job. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Mr. Dan Chikakis. Pardon me.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is Dan Chipkoskas. I'm a resident of Muskogee, and I also represent Polaris Industries. I think there's been a lot of information that's floated around out there, and it's been one of those things that's, it's kind of like swatting flies, trying to, discern what's truth and what's not, what's rumors and what's actually the facts of going on. About 3 years ago, Polaris Industries came to Muskogee looking for a location to build. They set up and they met with the entities. They specifically asked, they wanted, as a lot of industry does, they want to be outside the city limits. They look for access, they look for utilities, things of that nature that were critical to their infrastructure. Polaris purchased the property, and it's been a good venture. They were scheduled to do through 4 phases. They are in the second phase right now of development. And as I think probably a lot of you can understand, stability is very, very important when you open up a business. Dr. Who's, you're a physician. I think if you look for your payer mix when you see patients. You have to have stability in your reimbursements, and if the government comes in and says all of a sudden that we've got to assess a fee to your Medicare and Medicaid patients, it would affect you. And if they did it after the fact, and we know that kind of stuff happens all the time, and I feel bad for physicians that are trying to do this sort of thing. Ms. Hilton, when you're in the banking industry, the government comes in and they establish rules and regulations. Once you're already open, and they can put a bank right out of business, as you probably know and are aware. These are the kind of things that happen. What we're looking for in this situation is fairness. Fairness. Now, annexation does not necessarily have to equate to a 3% franchise fee. That 3% franchise fee is what is the crippling element in this. It's not necessarily the annexation, although you can debate that point. 3% can equate to about $5 million a year to this business. Now, how many of you that have signed both sides of the paycheck, if you all of a sudden got hit with a $5 million increase in your operations, could you survive? How many of you would, if you got hit with that type of increase, would you be able to continue the employment for these people? This is the kind of critical things that have to be understood and have to be expressed. We're in a situation now, we're discussing this, and Polaris Industries has not even had the ability to engage in this conversation. No one from the city has contacted Polaris. No one. And so they're finding about a lot of this information third hand. This is not the way we do business in Muskogee. This is not the way we do business in Oklahoma, and this is something that we need to correct right now. We don't have to move forward on this at breakneck speed when there's a lot of unintended consequences. We've got businesses throughout the city that have been siloed or islands for many, many years. I'll give you an example here. We've got, Brockway Glass. Brockway Glass is not in the city limits. The property that's south of Dow Tile, Yaffe Iron, Corning Glass, Bush Cannery, American Welding, Anderson Wholesale, H&G, The Castle. All of those places are outside the city limits, but they're in the city, and everybody thinks about that. But the reason is because it's the cost of doing business. Now, we've had a lot of discussion going forward about like Project Scissortail and all of the other projects that are going on out there. That's a good thing. You guys actually did a good job. You talked to these people, and they made a conscious business decision. They knew, eyes wide open, when you come in here, we're going to have a franchise, we're going to be annexed. But in this situation, this is an existing business. They don't know this. They didn't know this. Now all of a sudden we're slapping them with something that could put them out of business, or certainly at a minimum stop them right in their tracks as far as expansion. And so we need to think about the repercussions of these sorts of things. As council members, I don't have to remind you, every one of you has a fiduciary responsibility to the citizens of Muskogee. And we don't need to just plunge head first into something that could end up in litigation, lost jobs, lost revenue, lost taxes, on and on and on. These are the things that we need to say, tap the brakes. We're not in that big of a hurry. Tap the brakes, look at this thing, get all of the information out there before you make a decision like this. This is a big decision. This is not something you make flippantly. There are millions and millions of dollars at stake. There are many, many jobs at stake, and there are livelihoods at stake. So I ask you, please consider this and tap the brakes.
Thank you.
Vote no.
Mr. Triptalkus, Dan, I have a question.
Sure.
You mentioned that Polaris, there was no conversations prior to this coming out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There has
So
been
when they first came in, there was no
conversation about it all. They looked to be in the city, they wanted outside the city limits. They were offered property outside the city limits, as most industries are. I mean, the CEO and the Human Resources Director are both here. I mean, if you feel, you can ask them. point blank. They did not know, and they still don't know officially. There's just been a lot of conversation third hand. The first thing that we should do anytime something like this happens is we should reach out to these industries who are here, who have invested their money in our community, and ask them, okay, this is something we're thinking about doing. How will this affect you? Because we're in a partnership. It's not us versus them. The city and these businesses are a partnership, and we need to make sure that we consider those things before we just, up and make an arbitrary decision. I don't think anybody on this council wants to see us lose one job. We can ill afford it. So if we bring these people into the communications and talk to them, I think we'll find out that we've got some willing participants. These folks have done a lot of other things that have been very, very important to help as far as like the water. They built a water circulation system so they could do a closed loop system and and that's on their own, at their own money. So they're trying to do the things that that we need as a city. So this is a good partnership. We need to keep good partnerships like this, and we need to engage them in the dialogue, not ostracize them or alienate them and run them out of business.
Thank you.
What is their state unemployment tax?
I'm sorry?
What is the number of employees on their state unemployment tax?
I couldn't tell you the exact number on it, Dan. I mean, I think that their
Can you
number.
ask one of them and ask them?
Yeah.
We have 80 employees. 80 employees.
80 employees.
And they all live in Oklahoma?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Through phase 4, the anticipation employment numbers should be in about 200 to 250, as I understand.
Thank you.
This is a significant company. Thank you.
Mr. Michael Gregg.
Michael Gregg, I think you know me. Mayor and council, my question is, I'm sure you've gone through the normal contractual agreements that you have with every other business, which you signed a contract with Polaris, I'm assuming. Is that a yes or a no? If you got a contract with them, no contract?
We have a water contract, there's no other contract.
No other contract. So the land was purchased prior to by someone, is that correct?
Are you talking about the land that Polaris sits on?
That is correct.
Yes, sir, my understanding is they purchased that property right after we finished annexing one portion of John T. Griffin Industrial Park, and I think this will be addressed later this evening by a speaker, that they were aware that we were going to annex the entire park.
Okay. Only reason I'm addressing it is because we have had many discussions about, Dan mentioned fairness, but we've had many discussions about having transparency, or as Patrick likes to say, another word, but we need to be sure that when we talk to people that are coming here or are here already established a business, that there's a certain level of trust. And Dan mentioned it as we talked about trust before. We know as a city, through multiple projects that have gone through here, and it's been stated by the mayor himself and other members here, plus other people within the city itself, that there's a lack of trust in our city government. There's no question about it. We've all said this, and you've all agreed to it, every one of you, at one time or the other. My point is that when we are in dialogue with people and you want the trust of the citizens, and I've been here before and I've said this very pointedly, that to develop trust, there's got to be honor and integrity among those involved on both sides. And I'm interested in seeing how that progressed from that standpoint. And if that's an agreement that they had between the city and them, then they're here at the will of the change, and that's okay. But as far as I'm concerned, the element of trust is still way away from the city as a council member, as the average citizen. We've been through several things before, and hopefully when time shows up and the state audit comes, there will be a whole new vision going on and a whole new perspective. We know last August the GO bond did not go, and other changes did not proceed because of the lack of trust in you from the citizens of Muskogee. And if you want that trust ever to develop, I think you need to start taking a look at what's going on. And you are doing it. I thank you, Mayor, for our little lovely conversation we had about the lights. And I appreciate getting those lights online, finding out what the problem was. Thank you. There's other things that we need I don't know what you want to call it, if you could have a panel that's designed where people can discuss issues to let you know ahead of time, like lights are out, or plain lights like street lights, and stop lights are totally out for 3 days on the weekend, on Memorial Weekend, which I'll call Patrick on Tuesday. Sorry I woke you up. But it's very important that we have ability to communicate between the citizens and you or whomever it may be, so they be advised early on outage. And again, we're going back to transparency, and we're going back, we need to get the information from the people to you, you to the people. And trust in our government is very important. We all know how we feel about the national government, and it's questioned about some of the state government. It seems to be a universal problem. I think what it is, it's a lack of communication. And I think it lands here. Nobody else. And of course, other people are divisions of it, follow right through here, but this is it. This responsibility stops here. And you really need to think about getting a much more transparent government, and also communicating with the people more directly and finding ways to doing it. Having some kind of phone emergency calls people can call when they drive by and see a problem, so that somebody gets known. This will be very easy to develop. You've got the people to do it. But again, if you want trust and you want people to follow you, then you're the first ones that need to make that step. And again, thank you for the time to discuss this.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Gregg.
you, Mike.
Next, Anna Stewart, please.
Good evening, council members. My name is Anna Stewart, and I'm proud to be an employee of Polaris Technology. I stand before you not only as a worker, but also as a mother, a community member, and as an advocate for fair governance. Polaris has been more than just an employer to me. It has been a lifeline to me and my family. After years as a stay-at-home parent, Polaris gave me a second opportunity to return to the workforce with dignity and purpose. They support working parents, value family time, and foster a workplace where employees thrive. Polaris is a vital economic force in Muskogee, with local employees earning an average salary of $65,000, double the median income in our county. The company is providing stability and opportunity. With projections to create over 200 jobs in the next 2 years, the future looks even brighter. These jobs that sustain families, empower individuals, and uplift our community. However, Polaris is now facing a push for annexation, a move that threatens the livelihood of every employee and casts doubt on the city's commitment to fair business practices. This proposed action does not align with the precedent set for other major job creators. Annexation would impose an additional financial burden on Polaris, a company already contributing $1.5 million annually in city and county taxes, forcing them to divert resources away from growth, job creation, and employee well-being. Beyond the numbers, Polaris is about people. We have weekly family-style lunches, bringing employees together in a spirit of camaraderie. Open communication between staff and management ensures that every voice is heard and valued. I have spoken to countless colleagues, and this sentiment is clear. Polaris has changed lives for the better. If the city proceeds with this annexation, it sends a troubling message to local businesses that promises can be overturned and partnerships with leadership may not be honored in good faith. This is not just about Polaris. It is about trust, stability, and the economic health of Muskogee. As a mom with children at Hilldale, I also understand the importance of Polaris contributions to local schools. The company's financial support aids in shaping the future of our young people. Annexation risks weakening this contribution and endangering the very resources our children rely on. I urge the council to reject this proposal and let Polaris continue to flourish as a beacon of opportunity, innovation, and prosperity for Muskogee. We must stand together to protect not just one company, but the fundamental fairness that allows all businesses to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Charles Crawford.
Charles Crawford, resident of Ward 3, the city of Muskogee. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to, if you know me, you know that I always have data and like data. Okay, we've heard from some Polaris employees about timing and the annexation of the Polaris property that's part of the John T. Griffin Industrial Park into the city limits. I think the city... Wait. Everything we're good?
Thank you. Michael, my timer, will my timer reset?
It's rebooting.
Okay, I can't see it.
Does anyone just want to use a stopwatch or?
I'm trying to pull one up here, if you'll give me just a moment. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from several members of the, I'm assuming the staff and Dan with Polaris, and talking about possible timing differences and so on and so forth with the city of Muskogee and the annexation of this property. All the adjacent properties have already been annexed into the city limits of Muskogee. They are currently paying their fair share of city taxes that benefit our programs. City infrastructure has already provided nearly $4 million of water, bridges, roads, fire, and the actual road pavement and road bed itself of improving South 24th Street for the benefit of Polaris and the other entities that had already been annexed into the city limits. I find it interesting that Polaris Technologies was surprisingly quiet when Core Scientific and Ferdinand Technologies were annexed into the city limits, and they now complain about it now, being directly adjacent to these other properties, while they were surprisingly silent. As far as timing goes, Polaris purchased the property by deed, warranty deed, according to Ron Dean's office, on 5/23/2023 for estimated sale of $1 million, and the grantee was Polaris Technology, Inc. One of the the items that I sent out first was the the Yahoo Finance, which is basically the simplest way of seeing the market cap and the beta earnings of Polaris Inc., New York Stock Exchange symbol PII. The market capital as of this morning of Polaris is $2.345 billion. To ask Polaris to sit there and contribute to what the city has already paid for infrastructure, fire, police, telecommunications, the ability to travel down 24th Street safely, the ability to use roads that I use, my neighbors use, my fellow farmers that our friends and family use as well. The city has done a fantastic job in providing that infrastructure and providing Polaris a nice place to call their business home. I fully agree with the city and what they're proposing here. One of the most important reasons is that Polaris has been found guilty of several Department of Environmental Quality significant violations, which are still at large and still at issue. One of the items that I did pass out to the ladies and gentlemen of the council and Mr. Mayor and Mr. Vice Mayor is Department of Environmental Quality complaint number 189861, which highlights numerous infractions by Polaris. And I invite every one of you to read that and absorb the pollution and the infractions and the just insane inability for Polaris to follow just the simplest rules that the rest of us in the industrial world have to do.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you.
Mr. Crawford, are you sure you got the right Polaris? I don't think this Polaris is publicly traded.
It's the same Polaris that's cited by the Port of Muskogee.
Okay. I wasn't sure it's the same one.
If that is incorrect, then the Port of Muskogee's quote to the Phoenix is incorrect.
I wasn't sure they were a public traded company or not, so.
Neither was I.
Okay.
Can we get confirmation
Can we verify
from Polaris?
that?
Do
Yeah.
we have the,
Can we
can
verify
we have you
that?
come up and,
What is their net value?
It's not public, we don't need to add that.
You probably should. You really probably should. You're going to ask the city for $4 million.
Okay, Mr. Greg Webb.
So,
And who your clients are.
so because they're a private company, they don't have to give us the amount. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have to give us anything.
no.
Charles, did you just take all the agendas that were here?
I may have.
I want to say, first of all, thank you for the work that you do. I'm amazed that you are able to wade through all these agendas, all the links, all the data supporting it every week, and come here full of all that information and make decisions affecting the future of Muskogee. My hat's off to you. Now, might be a little bit of sarcasm in there, but still, point remains, I thank you for the hard work that you do. To me, this is going back, it's about trust and integrity and fairness. Now, from what I've been able to read and understand from court, from city council members, there's no legal written requirement that we need to make a break for Polaris. Having said that, this is also, we have an election coming up July the 8th. If there's 80 employees there and they get canned, how do you think they may vote on that CIP issue? And all their friends. And we did choose July the 8th, which will be the lowest turnout of any election this year. A few hundred votes may tip the difference. I have a question for the city attorney. I'm assuming you've researched the Constitution and the Title 11 and everything having to do with annexation.
Yes,
Okay. Are you aware of House Bill 1166 on the governor's desk?
yes, it goes into effect November 1st.
Excuse me?
It goes into effect November 1st.
Okay. Well, I know in the past, council sometimes received legal counsel that wasn't the best, like some of the inverse condemnation or eminent domain cases where some advice I heard was said, well, let's just kick this down the road. Maybe some of these old folks will die. We don't have to pay anything. That hadn't worked out real well. I know an offer was made to Mr. England for $900,000. He refused it. He's gone to a lawsuit.
Sir, you're going to have to stay on topic.
That has to do with the annexation.
It does not have to do with the
It has to do
annexation.
with legal counsel given to the annexation. You
The
want to cover
agenda
that
item-
up and just bull through here and
Sir,
not consider
the agenda
the
item is
questions
not
of the
legal
people?
counsel or the competency of the legal counsel. It is the annexation, so please stick to the topic.
Okay. Can we be given a report of the specific titles and statutes that you've researched? And did you give the council a legal opinion on it?
Yes, sir, I work for the city council, and I give them my.
Can
legal
we see a
opinions.
copy of that?
No, sir, unless you do
Why
an
is
open
that?
records request. It's legal counsel, it's private,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's confidential and protected.
Can we get that before the, what sort of a time frame on that?
Sir, I'm sure you can hire an attorney to research that for you.
Okay, if that's the level of cooperation you're gonna give the citizens, I don't think you're gonna get a whole lot of response coming up in a month. The other question I had that is connected with this somewhat, we need the money. And I understand we've got enough people wanting to come in and settle in that industrial park. We've got more people, we've got lots of people, and we're not really gonna miss a company that only employs 80 people. Is that the case? I sure hope so. Anybody have an answer to that? So I'm just saying, Mr. Chipkakis read off a list of people, of businesses that are still in the county, but they're inside the city limits, that have been siloed in. Why are they not being targeted with this too? Why are we not annexing those? Is it because of political connections that they have with you? I'd like to know answers to that. Is there a reason why that they weren't being considered for annexation? I just would like to see that we treat all businesses somewhat equally and impartially, if that's possible. So, thank you very much.
Can I say, Greg, I don't think we're targeting anybody. I agree with everybody coming up and making their claims and stating things, but we are not targeting
Why haven't you
anybody
gone after those businesses that are siloed
in the process. And I think that when you make a statement like that and you want to say not to annex one, but the other companies that are there have, some of them have already been annexed, I understand exactly what you're saying, but I think we need to be fair with our conversation. And I don't think we need to say
Well, I don't
that we're
have
targeting one
access
place
to the
or another.
information that you all have, and I'd have to
That's what I'm
apparently
saying. So I
hire
think
a lawyer to
just-
find out some of that stuff.
That's correct, but I think in fairness of the conversation, we don't need to say that we're targeting anybody, because that makes it sound unfair to us, and you're asking us, so
Well, I
I'm just
understand,
making
you want
my,
to annex that remaining land, that's fair, that's understandable.
so it's not a target to Polaris.
But
It's
some
not
other
clear.
businesses have been siloed in, why couldn't Polaris be siloed in? Or
I understand your
grandfathered in?
question.
That's all I'm asking. Well, why haven't you investigated the possibility of these other properties that are in the city limits but are still in the county for gerrymandered purposes? And why was that done? Why, if we need the money, why don't we go after these other sources of money? But I'm glad these are things that you all are handling and doing a responsible job. And as I said before, if you all mess up on anything, you all individually won't be the ones to pay for this. It'll be we, the people of Muskogee, of which you are a part of. But that's why I think it's fair to come and ask these questions. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Mr. Daniel Chipkakis.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. First, I'd like to rebut a couple statements that were made. Polaris is not a publicly traded company. It is private. That is a fact. The DEQ issue is irrelevant to this conversation. I have emailed every council member a detailed explanation of what that complaint was about and how it was resolved.
Can the plaintiff get one?
No, I'm speaking. So those two things, I think, needed to be rebutted. But, so on the topic of annexation, I think it's very simple, and other individuals have commented on what this is about. This is about the franchise fee. This is not about annexation, okay? Franchise fees are going to be based off of electrical utility costs, okay? How that affects us and our home electric costs and how it affects Polaris, completely different worlds, because we're living in our home, we're not producing income and needing the electricity to produce that income. The number one cost driver for Polaris is electrical costs. The franchise fee or tax, whatever you want to call it, is the most regressive way that you could possibly tax or add a fee onto a particular company. The reason why is the more that they produce as far as goods, widgets, whatever they're creating with using that electricity, the more that they make, the more they pay in fees. And so that's what I would say is it's a very, very regressive tax, and the city needs to look at that, ensure that it's even affordable. And I've listed out 3 reasons here why I think the annexation should be considered and not supported by the council. The first is unaffordability. I mentioned how the 3% franchise fee is calculated. It's extremely regressive. Polaris seeks to expand, and if it wants to expand, it's going to be expected to pay even more because they'll be using more electricity. It's unfair due to the facts that have been mentioned, that there's been no conversation that's been had about this. I think just at a bare minimum, I think we would all expect the city to come to a business, even to an individual, and say, hey, this is what we're seeking to do. We can argue all day long whether Polaris knew about potential annexation. Like I said, it's not about the annexation, it's about the franchise fee, discussing the affordability of that franchise fee. And so I think that's my biggest concern with this whole process, is that there hasn't been that open dialogue, that communication to ensure that the city council is aware of what it will cost Polaris. Can they actually absorb those costs? I mean, do any of us know exactly what the profitability of Polaris is? How much they can absorb in additional fees? I don't think that we do. And they have a right to be profitable. They have the right to make tons of money. And I think the city, they shouldn't shy away from wanting to provide services to industry, to businesses. And there's obviously a cost associated with that. But they need to be cognizant of the fact that if you continue to tax, you continue to add fees, there comes a point where other jurisdictions will be deemed as more fair than Muskogee. And I live in Muskogee. I love Muskogee, and I want more businesses to be here. But I want us to set a precedent, and that's my third item, is that I think it sets a horrible precedent. Whether the city continued to move on with annexation and this franchise fee after communicating with Polaris, that's one thing. But that first step didn't even take place. And I've asked numerous individuals, friends of mine, people in the community, and explained to them this annexation and the fee that will be levied against Polaris. And almost every single time the response is, that's ridiculous. Well, what if they do that to me? What if they came came to my business and said, we need to charge you more because we have infrastructure we have to pay for? And once again, I completely sympathize with the fact that the city has commented numerous times, they need money. They need to update infrastructure. I get that. I drive on these roads, I drink the water. I truly do understand that. But we can't just say because we have a need, we can warrant this particular action, this particular franchise fee. And so my request to you is that you reject this resolution, not because we're opposed to annexation, but we're opposed by the means by which this proposal came to you, but also the fact that the franchise fee is unaffordable. Polaris cannot afford it. Thank you for your time.
Daniel, before you walk away, in all fairness of transparency and what we are doing here, I'm with you and I'm for what you're saying. But when it comes to annexation, if you're not against the annexation, and we've talked about the other bill, 1166, what about Senate Bill 480? Honestly, are you guys thinking about using Senate Bill 480, the behind the meter bill, to create your own energy infrastructure? Because I think just honestly and transparently, if we're gonna do this and we're gonna talk about it, we need to have all the chips out on the table before everybody votes.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, if Polaris sees this annexation as unaffordable, and they do, and potentially leaving Muskogee, they only really have two options. It's they have to take the Senate Bill 480 route behind the meter, or they leave. And I think that's perfectly fair that they would consider that, but we're not using that as leverage or.
No. I didn't mean it to accuse you of using it as leverage. I want to put it out here so that your employees also know that there is another option, and they feel safe in the fact that Polaris could stay here. Even if they're annexed in, they could stay here through Senate Bill 480.
Well, there's when I say enormous, I mean enormous costs to going that route, and so
Okay.
that would have to be weighed against.
Can you explain that to everybody? Because I think these are the calls that I'm getting, and in all fairness and transparency, I want everybody in this space to understand that before we make these decisions, and then you can transparently say, I did what I said I would do.
Yeah, so the behind-the-meter legislation basically says that you can get off the grid, and honestly, there's a lot of appeal to that because you start draining the grid and you can't supply power to residential customers. But there are massive costs because you have to create the power generation on site, you have to use natural gas, and you have to tap into it. I mean, that's millions of dollars. So is that a feasible? It's an option. Is it feasible? I would say it's not feasible.
Okay.
But that would be up to Polaris to crunch the numbers on that. But just off the top of my head, I would say that's not just a flip of the switch. Say, well, we'll just go behind the meter. That's very, very expensive to do that. And they're already here. Their margins are thin. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily relative to how thin our margins are, as individuals, but they are thin. And so to be able to make that change now, after they've already made the business decision to locate here, I don't think that it's very feasible to do that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, there was a group of people at one time made a statement about our water usage here in the city. And when they heard out about the AI companies coming and how much water they're going to use, and it was nice to hear y'all state a while ago that they're trying to have a closed system. Because there was a big group of people pushing about, why are we letting AI companies come into Muskogee? They're going to use up all of our electricity, they're going to use our water, they're going to cause a hardship on our citizens. And for a long time, that's what I thought we were not wanting to happen here. But apparently, those things change with financial means coming in or whatever. The way that we view things, I guess, it depends on how we view our pocketbook sometimes. And going into this, I have mixed feelings. I came in with one vote in mind tonight, and I'm still having some issues on which way I want to go yet. But I want to tell Polaris right now, you did not gain points with me tonight by telling your employees that you're going to shut down business and leave Muskogee and fire them and get them unemployed before they came to this meeting tonight. That was not gaining points with me. That is not anything in my character that would allow me to do that to any business or any employees that I have, to put a fear factor into their lives like that. I mean, I understand if you want them to come up here and represent you, that's one thing. But to come up here and try to force a fear factor in them that they're going to lose their jobs, that's not good.
Can I ask
That's
you a
not good
question?
character.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
What if that's actually true, though?
But is it?
Well, they've said it is. You have to accept their word, or you would have to actually know their financial reports, what it would actually cost them to pay the franchise fee.
But you work it out and you work through the solutions, and that's the last thing you have to tell your employees. That's not good character in my book. And I'm sorry that you disagree with me.
That is not a character. That's not fair. You said it's a character issue. If it's true, it has nothing to do with character. It's just the truth. It's not fair to say that.
I
Okay.
think you work through the solutions to
Thank you.
find out what the results are.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Jonathan DeMarco or DeMario? DeMario? DeMario, thank you.
Good evening, members of the Muskogee City Council. My name is Jonathan DeMario, and I stand before you today not only as an employee of Polaris Technologies, but as a husband, a father, and a proud member of this community. When I joined Polaris, I didn't just gain a job, I gained stability during one of the hardest chapters of my life. While my father's health was failing and during his eventual passing, Polaris stood by me. They offered me flexibility, grace, and understanding when I needed it most. That kind of support isn't common. It gave me the space to grieve, to heal, and to still provide for my family without fear of losing my job or my livelihood. That kind of workplace changes lives, and it changed mine. The support I received from Polaris didn't stop there. Thanks to the financial stability of my position, my wife was able to stay home with our 4-year-old son and focus on her education. Since I started at Polaris, she has earned an associate's degree and is on track to get her bachelor's in 2026. She's preparing for a dual master program next. That's progress, and that growth is a direct result of the opportunities Polaris has made possible for us. And now as we prepare to welcome our second child this December, the comfort of knowing I'll be able to support my growing family emotionally and financially is priceless. Polaris has not only given me a career, they've given me peace of mind. But today that peace is being threatened. The proposed annexation of Polaris by the city of Muskogee could impose up to $5 million in new annual taxes on the business. That's just not just a number, it's a weight that could jeopardize everything Polaris has built here. We're talking about 80 and in the future possibly 200 high-paying, stable jobs, many of which will support families like mine. Jobs that pay an average salary of $65,000 a year, double our income, median income in this county. These aren't just jobs, they're futures and they're lifelines. Polaris is already contributing significantly to our city and county, $1.5 million annually through taxes and utility fees, not to mention being OG&E's largest electricity customer. We're not avoiding our responsibility, we're meeting it and then some. The growth is just getting started too. The company has invested $100 million into our region already with another $100 million on the horizon. Annexation doesn't just threaten Polaris, it sends a dangerous message to other companies that Muskogee might not be a place that honors its commitments. Polaris came here under the guidance of state and local leaders. We were told this unincorporated land was the right place to build, both for our operational success and the economic benefit of Muskogee. To now go back on that, to change the rules mid-game, could chase away future investors. I'm asking you, on behalf of my family, my coworkers, and our community, to reconsider this proposal. Don't let short-term revenue cloud long-term growth. Don't let a harmful precedent undo years of partnership and progress. Protect the future we're building together. Let's continue being the example of what's possible when a company invests in its people and when a city stands behind its word. Thank you for your time and for listening to the people whose lives this decision will truly impact.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Kimbra Scott, please.
Kimber Scott, I'm the port director. I guess a lot of what you hear tonight probably should be directed towards me and our team. So I'm just going to tell you what I have here. Jeff Underwood is out. His wife just had a baby, so I'm going to do my best to answer your questions and to provide you with a report. So thank you, Mayor, council members, for the opportunity. This discussion has generated significant attention, and rightly so. It's essential we address the facts clearly and uphold both our economic development strategy and the trust of the business community. Annexation has always been the plan, and some of you haven't been here long enough, but I have. Y'all seen this right here? It's called the Comprehensive Plan and Future Land Use Map. On page 59, it talks about south of Peak Boulevard and west of Highway 64 being a new industrial, heavy industrial access area. It's been a plan since 2012, 2013. It's not something that we dreamed up when all of a sudden we said, oh my gosh, Polaris is coming. They're going to be using 400 megawatts. We need to annex them into the city. When Mr. Miller was here, we talked about annexation. We talked about what that might look like. He wanted it done, and he said, we're going to start with the property that the port owns first. Obviously, we did that. Mr. Miller left. You know the rest of the story. Let me be clear, Polaris was never promised they would remain outside of the city limits. I was on numerous phone calls, conversations with them, with Mr. Alex saying, and he was told, you know, the city is considering annexing you. That's their call. They're going to annex you. All I can tell you is I was on the call, and so was Jeff Underwood, and he will vouch for this. We've thoroughly reviewed every record and communication. No such promise exists that they would not be annexed. Annexation has been a part of the John T. Griffin Industrial Plan from start, 2001. Does everybody remember Daltile? It was annexed right before Daltile bought the property. That was the plan for that park. And it is a city industrial park. Somebody mentioned a moment ago about OI, H.E. Anderson. That's not actually a park. Those are just areas within the city, like little islands that the county have, that were never annexed. Maybe we should look at those. Maybe that's something that should be brought up soon. I mean, I'm not saying it's off the table, but this is a park, the only park that the city provides resources to that is not annexed. That's the reason why we're annexing the entire park. In 2024, lots 3 and 4 were annexed. Scissortail followed in February 2025. Core Scientific has signed their annexation agreement. Polaris is simply the final remaining tract. This is a continuation of a long-standing, well-documented policy. Polaris chose a location. Yes, they may have wanted to be in the county, but guys, they chose it because of a 1,000-megawatt substation that OG&E built. They need power. They need 400 megawatts of power, and they want more. So that tells you why they're located where they are. You cannot attach to that 1,000-megawatt substation without being adjacent to it. So someone that has property outwardly, not adjacent to it, do not have access to 1,000 megawatts that OG&E put there. Just make that clear. They have always known this is an industrial site served by the city. They currently use about 6% of Muskogee's entire water supply, 2 million gallons per day, along with sewer and emergency services. We owe it to our taxpayers and other companies to be fair. Excluding Polaris from annexation while all other neighbors aren't annexed would raise serious concerns. It creates an uneven playing field and sends a wrong message about how we treat corporate partners and use city resources. I would be remiss if I did not tell you I haven't been harassed. Our team has been harassed. We've been threatened. We've been told that Commerce is not going to help us in the future. Little packet there's a letter from Commerce that says that is false. Guys, this is a serious situation. Scare tactics don't work here, please. Polaris is OG&E's single largest customer in this area. They have options under state law to build their own energy source or relocate. While we hope they stay, the decision is theirs. We remain committed to supporting their success in Muskogee. The port has no authority to annex any property. That authority rests with you. We support the annexation because it aligns with decades of planning, uses city services responsibly, and ensures fairness among all industrial park tenants. It's not about politics. It's simply about consistency with our policies. That's it.
Scott, I've got a question. With all of the industry out there that seems to be all high in water needs, Muskogee couldn't afford to get the water out there that all these facilities need. Can't afford to get the infrastructure, whatever. My understanding, in order to get all the water infrastructure out there for everyone, it could cost $100 million.
That's correct. That's what we've been told.
For water infrastructure. I'm just wondering why are these other Core and Scissortail, are they American-owned companies?
They are.
Okay.
And it is Polaris Technologies Incorporated. That's how they signed their purchase sale agreement, by the way, and they are not a publicly traded company.
Okay. But the American companies are publicly traded. And while they would like any kind of break they could get, they've been very cooperative in trying to make this happen. Would they be putting up the brunt of all of this money for improvements if we were to, and this other company
So
would
there's-
would not
there's-
have a,
There is one company, it's Project Scissortail. I think that Katrina, the city attorney, can talk about this. They're willing to work with the city to help upfront some of those costs so that you can expand the city water plant in tune of $50 million.
which benefits everybody out there.
Which benefits everyone out there, that is correct.
And this other company is a foreign, privately held company. Is that my understanding?
It's not, no, that's not correct. Would you like to come up and speak?
Is there someone from the company that can speak?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I've got,
I would
know
like
that
to say that.
But I need to, like, they are saying that they were never spoken to about the possible annexation.
That is incorrect.
You're saying that they were.
That is correct.
Were they also discussed about the 3% of the franchise fees?
That is correct.
Okay.
When, do we have a list of other, who else paying the 3% franchise fee?
Every property out there, except the ones that we're annexing, and they have agreed to the annexation. That is OG&E, Core Scientific, there's a couple of port properties out there, and there is, I think it's another one, which was the other one, Sarah?
So we never actually got the list from the city manager at the time, and OG&E cannot provide that to us. But there are significant industrial users that pay the franchise fee already. I can't tell you who they are. That's their information, and the city has it. I don't have it. But I can tell you the ones in the industrial park have agreed is Core Scientific, Project Scissortail. They're definitely on board, and Dow Tile, of course, pays it as well.
So is it only the businesses in John T. Griffith
No.
that pays it?
No, just anything that's been annexed that's an industrial user.
another question.
So Georgia Pacific,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have a list in us?
No, I don't, I've never had a list of who actually pays and what they pay.
So
I
let me
only
ask
get
this
a lump
question.
sum.
Let me
No,
ask
but
this
then- So
question.
that we don't know who's. for
Let me
sure.
ask this,
We
let me.
do know that every company that's in city limits pays franchise tax fees.
So my question then is this to Polaris. Is it that it's the amount of the franchise fee that is the issue? Because if everybody else is paying a franchise fee, yours is higher because of the higher amount of electricity that you use. It's not about the franchise fee at all. So if, let's say hypothetically, you used half or a fourth of the electricity that you use, would you still have this issue? Would you still have, so you're saying no? You're saying no? Somebody from Polaris, I see you shaking your head, but I need an answer, and I see you looking at him, and you're saying no, he's saying don't say no. My question is, if you used a fourth of your electricity that you currently use, would you be in here today? And that's an honest question, because I had honestly told you what I would do for you. Honestly, if you were using a fourth of this electricity, would you be in here today?
They wouldn't be in business.
I'm saying if the fourth of the electricity, if your company only used a fourth of the amount of electricity your company currently uses, would this be an issue? Yes or no?
They would produce only.
Not about the production of what they're doing. You clearly understand my question. If your business only used a fourth of its power, would you be in here? If your business was making dolls and you used a fourth of your electricity, would you be in here, yes or no? Honestly, transparently, would we be having this conversation?
I don't see how the relevance there, I mean, it would.
It is very relevant because you're asking us to do this based on the franchise fee of your 3% when everybody is paying 3 or 2%. And it's simply because your 3% because of your company is higher. It would be as if, and I'll make it plain, I'm an educator. So the amount of money that I make, my tax on it is way lower than a famous singer who has more money and their taxes are higher, and so their amount would be higher. Would they be in this space if they made the same amount of money that I made?
If you were talking about exactly the same issues, well, yes, that would probably be the case, but what you're talking about here is they are an energy-intensive company, and when they came in here, had they known about the 3%, they would have either baked that into their decision whether they could locate here or not. So
Dan, I was with you. I was with you all the way. I was with you all the way and had come in here with a hard no. I had come in here with a hard no not to annex, and I've got to ask these questions for my own integrity's sake. I've got to ask these questions because I'm looking at Haley behind you, and just from the integrity that I stand on, that I have stood on in this council so many other times, these are the questions I gotta ask, because not only do I need them to respect me after you walk out of here, I need to respect myself. I'm asking you, is it just about the amount of money that Polaris is having to pay?
The difference, though, is that the other people that were annexed are in a TID district. We were never given that opportunity. No one came to us
That
about
is not
that.
correct. I will stand here. That is not correct. She does not.
I don't think this is appropriate, place. We should be negotiating this in a different room, not in a public setting. This
Correct.
isn't fair to
We cannot
anybody.
do that, and Ms. Stonehammer will tell you why. We have been instructed by their attorney that if we have any questions, we go through their attorney. So we have not been able to talk to them about this.
Okay, so even if it's, okay, let's stop with the back and forth out there. Let's stop with the back and forth out there, because that is not fair. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot to answer questions that he cannot answer. My question is a very simple one, and I think Polaris can answer it simply if they would just say yes or no. And I think that we understand their answer by them not responding.
It's an after-the-fact fee.
It is not, Daniel, because
Yes, the business is already here.
when I sat with you guys, you told me, and I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be honest, and then I'm gonna vote. When I sat with you, you told me that you had been notified that it was a possible annexation.
Yes, we did say that.
Okay, so it's not about the annexation, because that is what we're asked to do. It's about your individual franchise fee.
My whole testimony was that's exactly what I said.
Okay,
Let's call to order. We can ask questions and go. I have a final question, if I might. Mrs. Scott, why are these industries, why are they all coming to Muskogee? Is it,
This is the 1,000 megawatt substation.
okay, are there other reasons? Is it the cost of the land? Is it the cost of the water? Is it the cost of the electricity? I mean, my understanding is we are cheap, and these businesses are coming to Muskogee because we are cheap.
We are paying a price, the city is paying a price. We are going to have to make some changes with our infrastructure.
Thank you. Any other questions, anybody?
Mr. Mayor, let me
Yes, sir.
sit here and try to wind this, my thoughts on this. You know, we use the word so loosely tonight, consistency. And tonight, we as counselors have to be consistent. We came to a special call meeting and we started this process. We're in the middle of this process now. And, you know, just like it's been expressed, my heart aches for anybody who feels like a move that we have to make tonight will cause them to lose their job. That's not what we come to do. That's not what we would love to do. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to be, in this word that we've been using all night, consistent. Consistency is that everybody else in John T. Griffith is already paying this franchise fee. They're already annexed. They've agreed to this situation. Consistency says we got to make sure that we're consistent with this Polaris group as well. Nothing as far as an attack on Polaris to block and to run them out of town, to run them out of business. It's been stated on numerous occasions that this has always been in the discussion format. They've always known this, that there was a possibility. So as a counselor, you know, I'm sorry that we're here tonight, but here we are tonight, and we need to be consistent. Consistency says that there are, in addition to 80 people who may lose their job, there are 36,000 people in this community that's looking at us to be consistent in what we do, to make sure that we do the right thing. And the right thing is to make sure, that we treat every business the same. Same rules for Core Scientific, Citatel. Polaris got to play by the same rules. And I'm sorry that we have found ourselves here tonight I pray that when we leave here tonight, whatever decision we make, we pray that everybody can work this out and everybody will keep their job. If God has other plans for you, I pray with you and for you for those other plans. But consistency is what we have to stand on tonight. We have already started this process with a special call meeting, and it is my motion tonight to move forward with the process that we come here to do, and that is a motion that I put on the floor
Can I ask
tonight.
one last question before we do that? Because again, I'm honest and transparent. I came in here to say no. I'm very honest, and I'm very transparent with what I came to do. But I do have one more question, and I have this question for Polaris. Are you saying to us today that if we did this, you would not be able to pay those franchise fees and that your employees would be terminated next week? Is that, and I'm talking not to you, Daniel, because you said you couldn't attest to that. Talking to the owner or whoever and the representative. Are you saying strongly to me tonight that you cannot pay those franchise fees and that you are going to terminate your employees? Yes or no?
That's a distinct possibility.
Yes or no? Not you, Daniel. Not you. Not you. I'm asking. They know exactly who I'm talking to. Are you saying, for the record, to your employees today and to me before I make my vote, that if we do this, you cannot pay those franchise fees and they will be terminated? Yes or no?
I would definitely have to lay off some of our employees to keep the entire business operating.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Yeah, wait, can I ask clear? A yes vote is to vote for annexation,
Correct.
Yes, that's correct.
right? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say, there's been a lot of discussion. I think that we need to get opportunity if any of the council wants the floor before we call a question. Because one thing I'd like to say is that a lot of people are insinuating that the council and that everybody has misrepresented themselves up here. Anyone that's been on this council for greater than 2 or 3 years knows that annexation was always in the discussion. Ordinances passed publicly that had the franchise fees in place were done way before this. It's always been there. The information's always been there. And I don't know that I can say that anyone truly misrepresented themselves. And if there was a break in discussion between somewhere, I don't believe it was between the council and the port and Polaris, but somewhere inside there, I don't know. I can't speak for that. But we've always had this discussion, and it's always been the plan, and it's always been the plan moving forward and coming out. The reason why it was annexed the way it was is because the way you have to annex property here, then you can only go to the property next to it. So that's why it wasn't done in the big group in the beginning, because you had to annex the port property first. Okay? So this was always the intentions. It's always been laid out. And so to say that we lack integrity by misrepresenting or we're not being transparent, you can go back. It's all there in public stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Well, I'd like to take 1 second to make just a quick comment. It kind of goes along with Mr. Hughes and Derek's. I appreciate all the comments tonight. Not every single one of them, of course, but to Dr. Hughes's point, I mean, if you're going to insult our honesty and our integrity, that's not a good way to approach us. But I do think the council is here to do what we think is the best job we can for all the citizens of Muskogee. So with that being said, I vote yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
I got to think about 36,000 people. Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
No.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 14, please.
Consider approval of Resolution Number 3037, a joint resolution of the City of Muskogee, Oklahoma, and the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority accepting the responsibilities as designated to the authority by the city pursuant to the Muskogee Urban Renewal Area, Shawnee Avenue Economic Development Project Plan adopted by the city, providing preliminary approval of a term sheet in connection with the proposed issuance of the authority's tax increment revenue note, taxable Series 2025, requesting the Muskogee Foundation to consent to the issuance of the note and agree to the modification of certain payment guarantees in accordance with the term sheet, approving professional services agreements related to financing professionals, and containing other provisions related thereto, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Reed?
Yes, Mayor and Council. This item is in conjunction with the item we spoke about earlier in the special call MRA meeting. So like it says, this items basically lets us grant a preliminary approval to seek the extension of the loan that resides within TIF District Number 3. And then, of course, it requests Muskogee Foundation to consent to the issuance of Series 2025 note and approve modified guaranteed provisions. Staff does recommend approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Move for approval.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
No.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Number 15, please.
Discuss and consider approval to transfer unused funding from the Drug Forfeiture Fund Program to the Neighbors Building Neighborhoods Prevention Programs, or take other necessary action.
Councilor Cranford, please.
Yes, this is a request to approve the transfer of $7,000 to Neighbors Building Neighborhoods for their prevention program.
Any questions? Can I have a motion?
Approval.
Yeah.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Abstain.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Good program. Item number 16.
Consider approval of the renewal of an annual contract for the City of Muskogee Police Department to provide school resource officers to Hilldale Public Schools, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Francis?
Thank you, Mayor. Council, I believe the contract that you have before you represents a win-win for both Hilldale Public Schools as well as the city. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Superintendent Puckett and Chief Teehee, both for their professionalism during our negotiations, but also for their willingness to be open-minded and to explore all possible options so that we can come up with a solution. The contract has been agreed to by all parties, and I recommend approval.
First, I'd like to welcome a guest, Mr. Ivory Van, to speak, my brother from another mother. Mr. Van.
You know, I like things straight and in order. That's how I work. That's just me. Good evening, Council and Mayor. First of all, I'd just like to come up here tonight to thank the City Manager, Mr. Francis, and the Chief of Police, and everybody involved, Mr. Puckett, for making the right decision on this issue at Hilldale. I have a granddaughter, and I have a daughter that takes my granddaughter to Hilldale every day. So I asked them this question today: why do y'all want those resource officers out there? They told me because, my granddaughter told me, because they're friendly, they're trustworthy, and they have a relationship with those officers, Mr. Jones, Mr. Ford. So I thought I'd come up here tonight. Last time I signed up, I had to work late, and I couldn't talk. But I just want to come up here tonight and thank you, city manager, because I know I've been sitting in that seat. I sat in that seat for 8 years and 4 months. And I know a lot of decisions you have to make is hard. But one thing about the council, they don't have the right, to make the decision on what you made it on. You have the right to do that, and we all know that as councilmen up there, and as a former councilman. But I just want to applaud you. Another thing I applaud you for is that you were going around the city of Muskogee and you building a relationship with people. And that's what this council and everybody up here should do, is build a relationship. Because when I was on the council, everybody called my phone, I went to their home and visited them. I got a relationship with them. And people still call me today. They still call me today. Because I'm going to say this and I'm going to sit down. There was a time where I didn't want the resource officers at Hilldale. And the reason why, because we didn't have security downstairs. So, Mr. Manager, when you come through that door downstairs, and you're looking at security and all that glass, and you got to have an appointment to talk to you, the reason that is because of me and the council that was on my side at the time. That's why security is downstairs right now. And I'm so happy when I walk through that door, I don't have to worry about security's not there. But that's why I said now Hilldale, they definitely need those resource officers. So on behalf of my daughter and my granddaughter and the whole entire Hilldale school, and I'm pretty sure everybody would like to say thank you, because y'all made the right decision. And that's just my opinion. And like I said, I'll be wrong on some things, but I'm definitely right on this. So I took the time out tonight, and I'm tired. I worked all day, but I wanted to make sure that you know that we appreciate everything you do as a new city manager here in Muskogee. And I'm looking forward to having a meeting with you, which I got scheduled next week, me and Mr. Nichols, about our issue. And so I'm looking forward to sitting down and talking to you personally about some different things. So thank everybody up there, and thank you, council, for all y'all do. I know y'all had a hard job tonight. I remember them days, but I get to go home now and sit down and eat, and y'all do too. So thank you very much.
Ivory, thank you for your past service here. I enjoyed your time here. And yes, I'm proud of the Ivory Van lockdown down there.
Now, Mr. Mayor, can I have?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just, on behalf of Hilldale, on behalf of the community and the ones that came and spoke a month ago, I just want to say thank you to Kendall and to Chief Teehee and to working on a resolution to move forward for the safety and security of our kids. And, you know, it goes beyond the security, and it's about the relationships and the trust that the students have in those officers. So, thank you. So with that, I move for approval.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes. Item passes. 17, please.
Consider approval of the recommendation by the City of Muskogee Foundation Board of Directors appointing Eric Wells to fill the expiring term of Ren Stratton and Tony Corbel to fill the expiring term of Ann Barker Ong, each to serve a 6-year term beginning August 1, 2025 and ending July 31, 2031, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Francis.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Foundation Board of Directors has recommended the appointment of Eric Wells and Tony Corbel. In my short amount of time here, I've had an opportunity to meet both of those gentlemen, and I think they're going to be a great addition to that board, and I recommend the approval.
I concur with you on that, Kendall. They will be, they're both great assets to our community, and look forward to working with them on our foundation board. So with that, I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale.
Yes. Item passes. Number 18, please.
Consider approval of the appointment of Councilor Mike Brawley to the Eastern Oklahoma Development District Board to serve a 3-year term beginning June 1, 2025 and expiring on May 31, 2028, or take other necessary action.
Yes, I've asked Councilor Brawley to serve on this board. It's a fun board, interesting board, and you learn a lot. A lot of county commissioners, of a lot of folks from other communities. It's very, very interesting, and I think you'll enjoy it. With that, I'd like to move for approval.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley,
Abstain.
Tom Martindale,
Yes.
Dan Hall,
Definitely.
Melody Cranford,
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery,
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Number 19, please.
Consider approval of the appointment of Stacy Alexander to the Historic Preservation Commission to serve a 3-year term, filling the expired term of Darzella Newton, beginning June 1, 2025, and ending May 31, 2028, or take other necessary action.
Counselor Hall.
Stacy is better yet, my next door neighbor. She is very active. She rides a bicycle, she walks, she works out, she's out there. She's a great person. She loves stuff like this, so I figured this is a great thing to keep her busy and out of the cul-de-sac. So I definitely want to make a motion that we approve Stacy for this position.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale. Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes.
I think we're done. I don't think we have any more. I need to read them first.
Okay, item number 20, please.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. A, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local Number 2465, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. B, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 95, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. C, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss negotiations with the International Association of Firefighters, Local Number 57, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. D, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25, consider convening an executive session to confer on matters pertaining to economic development, Project ED 202407, including the possible transfer of real property in the southwestern quadrant of the city, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. E, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25, consider convening an executive session to confer on matters pertaining to economic development, Project ED 202508, including the possible transfer of real property in the northwestern quadrant of the city, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. F, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the pending tort claim CA 182025, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. G, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss a potential lawsuit, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
Move for
Okay.
approval.
Before we vote on that, could we take a 10-minute potty break?
Yes.
Well,
Well, you can just can't go into executive, and then you can, and then you
Yeah.
can take a break.
Okay. Well, do we have a motion to enter into executive?
Move for approval.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Now we'll take a break. Ready. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, wait, I'm not ready. Here it is.
We're on.
Now I'm
Okay,
ready.
let's, do we,
Come back into it.
Have a motion to come back into regular
I
session?
just need a roll call.
Oh, let's just do a roll call. Come back into regular session.
Mayor Patrick Kell,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Jared Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hous.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here.
Mike Brawley.
Here.
Okay, Miss Katrina?
Thank you.
Wow. You got to do all these?
Yeah. Item 20A, council deconvene executive session pursuant to 307B2, Title 25, to discuss negotiations with the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Local Number 2465. An appropriate motion will be to authorize negotiations as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Next.
Item 20B, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss negotiations with the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 95. An appropriate motion would be to continue, to authorize the continuation of negotiations as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall. Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Next item.
You say motion passed.
Oh, motion passes. Next item.
Item 20C, pursuant to Section 307B2, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss negotiations with the International Association of Firefighters, Local Number 57. An appropriate motion would be to authorize negotiations as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. Number D.
Item 20D, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25, council did convene an executive session to confer on matters pertaining to Economic Development Project ED-2024-07, including the possible transfer of real property in the southwestern quadrant of the city. An appropriate motion would be to authorize the incentive as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. E, please.
20E, pursuant to Section 307C11, Title 25, council did convene an executive session to confer on matters pertaining to Economic Development Project ED-25-08, including the possible transfer of real property. An appropriate motion would be to authorize the incentive as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. Item passes. F, please.
Item 20F, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss the pending tort claim number CA-18-2025. An appropriate motion would be to authorize the settlement of the claim as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Mike Brawley.
Yes.
Tom Martindale.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Melody Cranford.
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery.
Yes.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kell.
Yes. G, please.
Item number 20G, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, council did convene an executive session to discuss a potential lawsuit, and there is no action required on this item.
Thank you, Katrina. This meeting is now adjourned.